Hi friends, this is MawdiayFaith again with Fearful's Journey Through the Desert. I thought we could pick up on chapter 5. We probably won't get through the whole thing. I have a class that's coming in about half hour, but I thought we could at least get a start. If you are new, I will leave the links to chapters 1 through 4 in the comments below so you can catch up with us. I hope you enjoy. Fearful woke up to someone shaking her. She was cold and stiff from sleeping on the cave floor. She had gone to the cave that was just beyond the gardens and had cried herself to sleep there. "Prince Anointed One? Shush, child. He's dead, and you won't do yourself any good by alerting the guards," Granny whispered in a husky voice. "I must see him," Fearful said, scrambling to her feet. Granny looked reluctant, but finally signaled for Fearful to follow her. At the back of the cave there were 2 outlets. The left one had a creek running through it. The right one had a big stone rolled in front of the low opening. But Fearful and Granny managed to roll it away. They hadn't walked far when Granny's lamp shone on pockets in the walls. Fearful's stomach turned at the sight of dead bodies of all sizes. They came upon one that was wrapped in a tattered but clean cloth. Unlike the others, with only his face showing, a sob escaped Fearful's mouth as she knelt beside the ripped-up corpse of Prince Anointed One. "We need to be going now, Fearful," Granny's voice squeaked with worry a couple of seconds later as she pulled Fearful back to her feet. Fearful dragged herself after Granny, tears staining her face. She had never felt so alone. They hurried out of the tunnel and out of the cave. They squinted as they came out of the cave, almost blinded by the bright morning sun. They shielded their eyes, but it didn't do much good, as the sun was determined to show off all its glory and didn't want anyone missing it. It didn't take them long to go down the hill to the garden. Once there, Granny shoved a piece of dry old bread in Fearful's hand. "Take this and get to work weeding. Don't you dare give any indication of leaving. I'd like to keep you alive at least until your next birthday," Granny whispered dryly, and then hurried off. She was actually really fit for someone who was 98. "Oh, Fearful, I was so worried about you last night. Where did you go?" Scaredy Cat murmured, wrapping Fearful in a quick hug as she took her place beside Scaredy Cat. "I'm fine," Fearful mumbled. The picture of the dead Prince Anointed One still haunted her. What was it like being in the service of Prince Anointed One? Fearful looked over at Scaredy Cat's shy but curious face and smiled for the first time since yesterday morning. Simply put, amazing. With that, Fearful told Scaredy Cat all about it, not leaving a detail out. On the day that she had started her journey with Prince Anointed One, she had begun to feel hopeful. Now, as she talked with Scaredy Cat, that overwhelming sense of hope came back stronger than ever. She didn't understand it because she was still a slave of Prince Iniquity. Yet she felt hopeful. What did it mean? What do you think? What do you think it means? Put your thoughts in the comments below, please. What did it mean? Prince Anointed One was dead. She had seen him with her own eyes. Sure, he had been hard to recognize, but she had known it was him. Still, the hope tenaciously lived on. The feeling was as real as the summer heat that hung in the air. But Prideful and Boastful scoffed at Fearful once she was done. Neither one of them sounded like they really believed a word she had just said. They both thought they were too good to need to be saved, but Scaredy Cat listened intently, taking in every word Fearful said. "Are you going to finish that bread?" Scaredy Cat asked shyly once. "Are you going to finish that bread?" Scaredy Cat asked shyly once Fearful was done telling her story. "No, have it." Fearful watched with curiosity as the last half of her bread disappeared in the blink of an eye. She had also noticed that, as she had been sharing her story, that Scaredy Cat had been sneakily popping a bean or 2 in her mouth when no one was looking. That was really strange. Scaredy Cat usually had a small appetite and was fine with their poor rations. Yet here she was, acting like a starved dog. I struck the overseer. As punishment, they stopped giving me my rations, Scaredy Cat explained. You struck the overseer? Fearful looked at her tall black friend unbelievingly. Yes, her friend was probably strong enough to do that, but Scaredy Cat wasn't given the name because it was pretty. Yeah, the idiot. She can't see a good thing that sits right in front of her nose. If it were me, Prideful went on a tirade, but the others simply ignored her. Yeah, I don't know what got into me. All of a sudden, this anger at his lack of mercy welled up within me, and I decked him. Fearful was shocked to see a sheepish grin plastered on Scaredy Cat's face. Fearful made sure the others weren't looking and then gave Scaredy Cat 2 thumbs up. After that, they both fell silent, and their hands started flying even faster over the beans. They worked side by side in silence, both thinking about Fearful's adventure and the lessons each one taught. Fearful was weighing the cost carefully. She noticed that Scaredy Cat's eyes had taken on that far-off glazed look they always got when she was deep in thought. At lunchtime, as Fearful and Scaredy Cat sat close together, eating Fearful's piece of stale bread and old vegetables, a guard came to the gardens with a chained, bare-chested slave. Work him hard! He is to have no rations for 3 days. The guard threw the man at Overseer's feet. Taking a close look at the slave, Fearful realized with a shock that it was Prince Iniquity's top official. She gasped to see...
I forgot my book.